Most founders believe the myth that they need more leads to make money through LinkedIn. So they listen to the gurus who tell them to create daily content to grow an audience. But the problem is, creating really great content is hard. It's a skill set that takes years to develop, and even if you're successful at growing an engaged audience, it doesn't guarantee that you're gonna make any money. The truth is that most of us have created a ton of content that didn't do anything for our bottom line. You can make really good money as a consultant or a service provider using the Unconventional CIS podcasting framework. And the good news is it takes less than 2 hours per week. When I say make really good money, I mean cash in the bank. I was able to close business using this method in less than 30 days of launching this business, and my customers have generated over $1 million of revenue in 2024 alone. Now, before we move into the CIS framework, I want to caution you away from trying to grow an audience early on. Growing an audience and growing an email list is extremely powerful. Yes, even in 2025. For people who have successfully grown and monetized an audience, it is an amazing way to make money, especially as a solopreneur, but it takes an incredibly long time and it's a hard skill set to develop. On the weekends, I've been creating content for a homesteading channel where I burn things and make things out of logs for my kids, and I've gained over 80,000 followers across social channels and have over 80 million views in the last year. Through that channel, I've made less than $3,000, but I've generated tens of thousands of dollars through LinkedIn with almost no impressions and a much smaller following. In a world where cash is king, focus on what drives revenue first and focus on that long-term growth down the road, because growing an audience and chasing leads is not the answer. The CIS framework is simple and effective. And the good news for you is that most people won't put in the work to actually make it happen. But if you're like most of my clients, you're going to be positioned to be making money in the first 30 to 90 days of implementing this process. The 3 steps of the CIS framework are: 1, create content with ideal customers. 2, identify an intensely painful problem. 3, sell a minimum viable solution. Let's break down each one of these steps. What do I mean by create content with ideal customers? Here's where we're really going to diverge from conventional marketing wisdom. Most of the gurus are going to tell you that you need to create content about you, to create content about your products and services, to create content about your experiences, or to create thought leadership content. Here's the thing. The market doesn't care. They don't care about your solution. They don't care about you. Your ideal customers care about themselves. There is a time and a place for thought leadership content, but that time and place is way down the road when you really understand what your ideal customers care about. And the truth is, they care about their pain points and problems, the solutions they want to the problems they care about, and their opinions. There are a lot of ways to create content with your ideal customers. I'm going to walk you step by step how to use podcasting or a live show to create content with your ideal customers, but the same process works if you're going to be writing a newsletter, writing an article, writing a book. Any way that you can get an ideal customer to contribute their opinion or their point of view works the same way. And the reason that it works is that instead of reaching out to an ideal customer to pitch them on your service or try to get them to look at your content, instead you're reaching out to that same person and you're asking them to share their point of view. And because ideal customers care about themselves, they are far more likely to say yes to coming on your show or contributing to your article than they are to buying your service. This lets you start really meaningful, genuine conversations with exactly the people who you want to sell to. Now, this isn't a veiled sales pitch. I'm not telling you to trick people into talking to you and then pitch them. When you have real, genuine, meaningful conversations with your ideal customers, you're able to learn exactly what they're looking for. You learn about the pain points and problems they care about if you're curious. And then you're able to craft a solution that actually solves those problems. And so some of these conversations that you have with your ideal customers through creating content with them naturally lead to sales conversations, but we're going to get into that in a minute. The main thing you need to take away from this step is that when you're starting out, focus your content on what your ideal customers care about. Find a topic that's going to get them to say yes to coming on your show or contributing to the content you're creating. And that is the foundation to build deep relationships with exactly the people who you want to do business with. Step number 2 in the CIS framework is identify an intensely painful problem. Now, I'm using really intentional language here. A lot of founders start with the solution. They've created a solution to a problem maybe that they had or maybe that they believe that the market is experiencing. And so they focus on pushing and marketing their solution. It's much more effective to create content that focuses on customer problems. Customers don't walk around thinking about solutions. They walk around with a lot of problems that they need to solve, and they have to prioritize which ones are the most important. Maybe you've identified a problem and you've talked to ideal customers and they say, yes, I have that problem. So you create a solution, and like my first business, it totally fails. You've created a solution to a problem that customers have said that they have, but nobody buys it from you. The reason is that focusing on a problem and creating a solution isn't enough. You have to identify intensely painful problems. Have you ever had an issue in your business that keeps you up at night, where you can't fall asleep, where you have acid in the pit of your stomach? If you have, then you've probably experienced an intensely painful problem. What is that issue for your customers that you can solve? The way that you identify intensely painful problems is by having conversations with the right people that we talk about in step 1. And then step 2 is asking them probing questions. It's like a discovery call for sales, where you're really digging into what customers are experiencing. Now, the difference between this and a typical discovery call is that you're not looking for a one-off solution. You're not looking for the pain point that one customer has and creating a customized solution for them. You're looking for the pain point that multiple ideal customers have brought up, where you're starting to see a theme. When you've talked to 10 or 15 people and 3 to 5 out of those people have identified this really painful problem, now you're onto something. And it's really simple to move to the next step. When you've touched a nerve and somebody really gets emotional about it, or they're starting to talk about how they can't sleep at night because of this issue, then you ask the following question. If there was a solution for that problem, would you be interested in having a conversation about it? Or, I'm working on a solution to that problem. Is it worth having a conversation about how I could help you solve that? If they say no, the problem you've identified is probably not painful enough for them to allocate budget. But if they say yes, that's an indicator that, hey, I actually have something here. Now it's time to focus on step number 3 of the CIS framework: sell a minimum viable solution. And I'm using really specific language here because the 2 biggest mistakes I've made and I've seen other founders make is that we identify the wrong problem and then we create a full-on solution to that problem. And this can be a business-ending mistake, because if you focus on the wrong problem that nobody wants to pay money to solve, and then you spend the time, effort, energy, and money to create a full solution to solve that problem, then you end up trying to push something into the market that nobody wants. But instead, create a minimum viable solution. What is the lowest bar that you can do to help move the needle forward for that potential customer? See if you can sell that to them. It might be a workshop with that client. It could be a small engagement. It could be a strategy session. Whatever it is, see if they're willing to pay you something to start solving that problem. This is how you're able to make cash much earlier in your business. And when somebody pays you money, it's validating that the problem is serious enough for them to spend at least some money on the solution. Once you've sold an initial minimum viable solution, now you're going to try to validate whether that solution is legit or not by trying to sell it to another prospect who says they have the problem and they want to solve it. Once you've sold and improved that minimal viable solution 3, 5, 10 times, now you're at the point where you're able to move beyond the CIS framework and create a marketable, scalable, productized offer. But that's for a future video. Here's where we're going to get really practical. It takes 90 to 180 days to walk all the way through this process. But over the next couple minutes, I'm going to share with you the easiest way that I've ever found to implement the CIS framework and that's by launching a podcast. Now, before you tune out and say, oh, a podcast is too much work or that doesn't work anymore, this is an unconventional podcast. What makes this an unconventional podcast is twofold. First, we're not focusing on audience growth at the beginning of this show. We're focusing on building a relationship with our ideal customers so that we can start those conversations, identify those painful problems, and sell minimum viable solutions. The second thing that's unconventional about it is that this type of podcast requires little to no editing, super easy to put together, and it's a very low lift. The reason is that we're going to run this podcast as a LinkedIn Live. Now, if you're not comfortable going live, that's okay. You can pre-record it and push it live. The benefit to this is that you're getting that content right in front of your LinkedIn audience, which gives it natural growth. Whereas publishing this on typical podcasting platforms takes forever to get anybody to see it, and you lose the interaction that you would get through LinkedIn. Before we jump to the video that walks through StreamYard, 3 quick things I want to share with you. 1, if you're enjoying this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I am including an affiliate link in the description of this video. I do make a small affiliate commission through StreamYard if you use my link. And if you want a video walkthrough and a template for how to reach out to your ideal customers and get them to say yes to coming on your show, comment outreach template on this video or send me a DM on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to shoot that template over to you. Now we're going to jump to how to kick off your LinkedIn Live podcast using StreamYard. LinkedIn doesn't let you stream directly from the platform, and so you have to use a third-party streaming platform like StreamYard or Restream. In this video, I'm going to walk you through each step to launching your first live stream. Now, there are a few steps involved, and the first time you go through it, it can feel a little bit overwhelming. But once you've gone through this process once or twice, it's really straightforward and easy. The first thing you're going to do is create the event on LinkedIn. When you log into LinkedIn on your home screen, you should see Start a Post, and you're either going to see the Event tab right here, or you click Start Post, click on the plus sign, and then you're going to see Create Event right here. So you go ahead and click on that Event tab, and the first thing you're going to need is a cover image. Now, you don't have to have a cover image, but you can create one fairly easy on a platform like Canva. If this is your first live stream and you don't have a graphic design team and you don't want to go through the process of using Canva, you can just launch without a graphic, but it does add a little bit of extra oomph to your post. There's a couple advantages to using Canva and especially Canva Pro. It makes this really fast and easy. I've created a lot of graphics in Adobe Illustrator, and I've switched over to primarily using Canva for my LinkedIn Live graphics because it's very easy. Once you've found a template to use and you've changed the brand colors and added your logo, it's super easy to make a copy of that file. All you do is go up to File, make a copy, and then you can just use this same graphic over and over again and swap out a couple details. So I already have the title for this event. It's Make Videos the Easy Way for Your Ideal Customers. Now this is a solo episode, so I'm going to make some modifications, but if it was a guest episode, this is where using Canva Pro comes in handy. You upload the image of your guest, you drag and drop it to the right place, and it automatically changes the background. And then you can adjust the size of the image so both people look like they're about the same size. Change out the name. So if I was having this episode with Logan Lyles, and now my graphic is ready. All I have to do is hit share and download to be able to get this image. So from start to finish, it takes 2 or 3 minutes once you've gotten the template made to use Canva to create a graphic. Now in this case, this is a solo episode, so I'm gonna delete Logan. I'm gonna scoot myself over here, and I'm going to remove this second box, and voila, I'm done with my graphic in under 2 minutes. I'm gonna download it as a PNG, and we're ready to go. Now that I have my graphic created from Canva, I'm gonna go ahead and click on Upload Cover Image, find the image that I just created from Canva, and hit Apply. Next, I'm going to go to Event Format and click on LinkedIn Live. I'm going to put in the event name. I'm going to set the date. This one is Monday at noon. Set an end time. This one's going to be a quick 30-minute live stream. And then under description, you're going to want to write copy that describes the event and that you can use for your post. You could do separate copy for both, but I like making it easy and using the same copy for the event and for my posts. So I'm going to put this copy in. You do want to double check the formatting. Sometimes it messes up the format, but overall it looks pretty good. Now, LinkedIn doesn't normally let you do formatting, but if you want to use bullet points or something like that, they won't copy and paste over, but you can hit Alt-8 and little hack there. You can put bullet points in to your posts. Then you're going to add the speakers. On this one, it's just me. You do have to be a first connection to add a speaker. You can add multiple speakers to your event. Now that this is all set up, we've got our image. It's a LinkedIn Live title. Got the right date selected, time, description, speaker. I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Okay, so now the event is created, but you can't actually make this event live without creating a LinkedIn post. So then you're going to copy and paste your post in here. And if you're inviting somebody else, so say that this was an event with Logan Lyles, I would say, on Monday at 12 p.m., I'll be speaking with, and then you do the @ symbol, Logan Lyles. And then I'm going to want to tag all the people who are coming to this event. So if you want to, again, for guests, you hit the @ symbol, you type their name in, and then you click on the person who's joining you so that they are tagged in the post. Once you have the post ready to go, you've tagged your speakers, you're going to go ahead and hit post. Now that your post is live on LinkedIn, we're going to jump over to StreamYard. But one last thing before we do, if you click into the event itself, you can click on share and invite people. And then you can go through and invite people who are your first connections. You can search for them. You can search by their current company, their industry. And so you can find prospects or other people you're building relationships with to come to your live stream event directly from here. You can also share it by sending it in a message if you want to have a more personalized invite. So next we're going to come over to StreamYard. Now, if this is your first time using StreamYard, you're going to want to connect your account. So go over to destinations on the left-hand side. And then I already have several destinations here, but to add a destination, you click on the add destination button that you want to connect to this account. I recommend streaming from personal profiles, at least to start out. In order to do that, you're just going to click on link profile. You sign into the account. It's going to pull up a screen that says, do you give StreamYard permission to access this account? You give permission, and then it's going to pull you back to this screen and show you that your destination is connected. Now that your LinkedIn destination is connected, you're going to hit live stream, and then you're going to click on the LinkedIn profile that you're streaming to. You can also add other destinations. I'm going to go ahead and stream to my Facebook page, my LinkedIn profile, and my YouTube account. Now, this is why we created the event on LinkedIn first. You're going to click this button right here that says use an existing LinkedIn event. If your LinkedIn account is connected and you've posted that event, you're now going to see that event appear here in a dropdown. If you had more than one event, then you can click on the dropdown and select it. Now you're going to click use selected event. It automatically pulled in the details. I'm going to go ahead and upload this thumbnail again to ensure that it goes across all the destinations. But if you're only using LinkedIn, you don't have to worry about doing that. Now you click customize each destination. I am actually going to go ahead and add the full description on YouTube and on Facebook. And again, if you're using LinkedIn only, you don't have to worry about that. And the copy is already in LinkedIn, so just don't mess with anything here. Leave all of that alone. Now everything is ready to stream to all three of these platforms at the same time when I go live on Monday. So I'm going to click right here, create live stream. Now that this live stream is created, there's a couple things I'm going to want to do. Over here on the right, there's these three dots. If you click on those, you can invite guests to join the show. You're going to copy this link and send it to your guests. You could also add it to a calendar invite so that your guests can join when they're ready. If you have a paid version of StreamYard, you can let guests stream to their own platform. All they have to do is sign up for a free StreamYard account and connect their LinkedIn, and it'll automatically push the stream to their profiles as well. We're almost done. A couple more steps. You're going to click on Enter Studio. Now there's a couple things you want to take a look at in here. If you've never used StreamYard before, it's just going to be a blank background. So you're going to want to come over here on the right-hand side and click on Brand. And you're going to see these different options. So you can add your custom color up here. If you have a paid StreamYard account, you can add your logo and remove the StreamYard logo. And then you can also add different overlays and different backgrounds. So I've uploaded my own background here, but they have a few backgrounds that you can use. You can also take a look at the different layouts under here and get the layout that you would want to use for your live stream. One last thing you want to double check if you have a paid account is to click on the record button over here on the right. And you're going to want to make sure that it's set up to record the live stream. Otherwise, if you don't set that up ahead of time, you're going to lose the recording and not be able to use that in the future. Now the recording will stay live on LinkedIn and on the platforms you stream to, but if you want to use that to cut clips or do something with it later, you won't have access to that if you don't make sure the recording is set up ahead of time. I'm not going to go through everything here about best practices for streaming, but you can manage comments through here. One last important thing before you go live is that you have to add people to the stream. And so if you have multiple guests in here, you're going to see multiple videos at the bottom, and you're going to have to hit add to stream. If you haven't added somebody to the stream, you're not going to be able to hear them, and they're not going to be able to hear you. So you have to add people to the stream to be able to hear them, and then for them to be seen. Whatever you see right here is what will be streamed. So you can add and remove guests throughout the show. So if you had multiple people, you can pull in different speakers. But for the most part, you're probably just going to have either a solo episode or multiple people joining you, and you're just going to add those people to the stream and go from there. And then when it's time to go live, you just hit the go live button up here at the right-hand corner, and it pushes your live stream out. And then once you hit in live stream, your guests are still going to be in the studio, but the live stream will be ended. The first couple times you do a live stream, it can feel very intimidating, but once you get the hang of it, it feels a lot like being on a Zoom call with somebody else, only you get a lot more value by pushing it to both of your audiences or all of your audiences at the same time. There are a lot of steps to this process, but once you've done it once or twice, it really takes about 10 minutes to set up a live stream. After you go live, reach out to me on LinkedIn. I'd love to hear about how this process went for you. The CIS framework is the fastest, most efficient way I've ever found to generate income into your business through content. You're able to create content with the right people, identify painful problems, and create a minimum viable solution. If you want help launching your live show, or you want to dig deeper into how to identify those painful problems or create your minimum viable solution, check out my website, sellthroughsocial.com, or use the link below to schedule a free 30-minute session with me where we can talk about how you can grow your business using the CIS framework.